Hello!
Hello!
Welcome to another episode.
Film Critters.
Shit, processes. Process. I don't know what that bit I was trying to do. I think I was trying to make it sound like a YouTube poop. Like, you know, where they would like loop and like rewind it a bunch.
Yeah, I'll chop and screw it in the editing room. I'll make it sound Fresh Prince.
Yeah. I want to sus in there. The film process sus. Something
Film
like that.
Film Critters per hour.
Anyway, what do we got today? What's on the docket?
Today we are looking at a film from my homeland, from the magical, mystical land of Sweden. I'm not actually that Swedish. I'm like 1/16 Swedish. It's Koko-di, Koko-da.
I was gonna say I'm looking at it right now so I can remember the title, because otherwise I kept like literally every time I tried to tell people about this movie, I'd be like, oh, it's this movie called like Kokori, Deedle Doodle Da,
Pokemon 2000 the movie.
Hokey Pokey.
Boy, is this a weird one.
What were they thinking?
What were they on when they made this, bro? I might give you the floor because I have just a lot of poison and negativity that I feel towards this movie.
hit a little too close to home. It's a little too Swedish.
Yeah, my experiences in Sweden are too. It's just triggering for me.
I think it's like an interesting thing, and that we probably agree on this film, but that the things that you find annoying are like too much. Whereas for me, I'm like, I can skip that. I will say, I assumed that this was the director's debut film, but it's not. And that does kind of make me a little more critical of it, because I was like, oh, like, this isn't a debut film and it looks like this?
Yeah.
Like, you've made full-length movies before? I mean, to be fair, the other full-length film that they have that I'm looking at right now is called The Giant, and according to the synopsis, is about a 30-year-old autistic disfigured man who pretends to be a 50-meter tall giant. Which just sounds atrocious. That just sounds like the worst possible premise for a film.
Yeah, it sounds less than great. But yeah, G, what do you think of Koko-di, Koko-da?
I thought it was okay. I think when I messaged you about it, I was like, oh, we should do it on this. It was like I was like 20 minutes in, and I was like, oh, this is like Swedish Antichrist. So that was like before like time reset. So like I didn't quite realize that like, oh, the film is like gonna be them stuck in like a weird time loop because they're like trapped in the music box.
Yeah. It's pretty. It's I can't think of a better word than repetitive. But yeah, that's kind of the structure of the movie, is that it's like, here's this kind of theoretical situation where they're being tormented by these like 3 figures, technically 4 if you count the dog. And it plays out in slightly different ways every time, and one of the characters is like aware of the prior occurrences.
I will say, I feel like the implication is that they are both to an extent aware of it, but that because the wife basically like through each first loop is caught off guard, she has less of like unawareness of like what's going on. Because on the first time it happens, she gets up and she has to go pee, and she goes out into the woods and they get attacked. And then he watches that happen, and then like watches it as it gets worse. Whereas on the second loop, she wakes up and she has to pee, but all she knows is that she doesn't really want to go out into the woods to pee. So she's just like, I'm just going to pee under the tent. Because like she
Well,
knows that something happens, but like she's not really aware of it in the same way he is. Because on each iteration, he becomes like more and more aware of like he like remembers more and more of like what's happening. The implication I'm
mm,
getting is that it's like these are like it's like a dream that they're having essentially, and so they wake up as if it's from a dream, and so she woke up from that and like has this weird sense of unease, but isn't quite sure why. And then he wakes up and he remembers seeing his wife get attacked every time she went out to go pee.
see, I kind of have a different recollection of it. Well, for one thing, like I remember the first time there was like this argument where like the wife was like, "Oh, I want to pee. I want to pee under the rain cover. I don't want to go out there." And the husband's just like, "No, don't piss under the fucking rain cover. Just go out and piss." And that's like the first time that they get killed. Um,
Oh, I think
and then the
I
second,
must have missed that part.
yeah, it's like a short little argument that they have. And then the second time, she's like, "I'll pee under the rain cover," and he's like, "Actually, that's fine."
Yeah.
But it is weirdly a little bit squishy because it seems like it seems like she's getting her memory wiped. She's not remembering them for the most part up until kind of toward the end where it starts to seem like she's kind of kind of starting to remember little bits and pieces of things that are happening to them. And especially with, for example, like there's the scene kind of toward the end where she stumbles out of the tent and it's like everything's different and it's like snowy and her husband is gone. Which that was like a cool part. That was kind of interesting because it was like the movie being like really really repetitive and then all of a sudden like, oh, here's something different. Uh, but yeah, I don't know, the premise, it was a little it was a little squishy as far as kind of the rules of the time loop of the science fiction aspect, which I don't have a problem with because it's really meant to read more kind of metaphorical. It's like a metaphorical film, which I usually am perfectly fine with.
Yeah, no, it was a thing where like I actually kind of liked how little is really sort of explained,
Yeah.
like in that it is very much so just like they are for whatever reason trapped in this time loop where every time the wife goes out to pee, these three strangers and their dogs like are literally just appear, like no matter where they are. The second she pees, they appear.
Yeah.
And basically like funny game style just set out to torture and kill them for like really no reason. And then every time there's like the last climax of that scene, it resets and they're waking up and things maybe play out a little differently, but like ultimately like those repetitions will happen each time. So I did actually like that part of it. I just feel like it then my biggest problem with like where I felt the film was weakest is that it didn't really go anywhere further with that premise.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like when the film ended, I was just like oh, that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, for real. I have absolutely no qualms with kind of the conceit, and even really the structure, I guess. I think it's kind of with with a lot of aspects of the execution is kind of where I lose the plot a little bit. So I mean, like, so for example, we start out with this kind of this very like straightforward series of scenes where it's like this couple who they go to like a vacation, and it's like their daughter's birthday almost. There's this weird shellfish allergy thing, and then their daughter just kind of dies in the hospital, which is very sad. And then it kind of shifts to this like shadow play thing, which I still don't really see how specifically the shadow play, other than the rabbit iconography, because they were all kind of dressed as, or not dressed as, they all had like rabbit face paint on, and the little girl had like rabbit ears or whatever.
Yeah.
So they're making some sort of point with the shadow play about like, this is the family. This is like some sort of kind of metaphor for what the family is going through. And then the rest of the film is like a separate metaphor about, I guess, their grief, or like their struggles with grief or whatever, but it takes the form of like these three like goofy carny motherfuckers who are, you know, painted on their daughter's music box, so symbolism. Uh, but with that stuff, not only was it very like funny games in terms of just like, okay, I'm kind of just sitting here watching these people get like tortured and menaced over and over and over again with no real kind of point or purpose, or like the point or purpose. Like I already kind of understand the point and purpose, but it's a little bit, I don't know. Sadistic is kind of the wrong word. It's just kind of annoying. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah.
I found it annoying on those fronts, and also just like the Amanda Palmerness of the movie just made me want to fucking yarts. I just thought it was so. Ugh. I don't know. It like and that's part of kind of the disclaimer of like my thoughts on the movie, which is that like the narrative and aesthetic choices really are just like poison for me specifically. I don't expect other people to like, or I don't expect or demand obviously other people to like have the same kind of reactions or to like hate it in the same ways. If you liked it, that's perfectly obviously valid. I don't think we even have to say that. But yeah, I just thought it was fucking annoying. It's consisted of things that annoy me specifically. I don't know. But there were some cool parts. I don't yeah. Eh.
I will say this film does have a pretty wide spread of reviews. So I think it's really common that people, and when I say widespread, I don't mean like, oh, it's really divisive. People either like it or love it. I mean it's like people either like, people hate this, people love this, people are like, it was okay. It's definitely a film that is like not easy to pin down in like a critical way. So like that's why it's like I'm not really surprised that you hated it, because it seems like a lot of people have like a wide range of responses to this film. Probably in part because, like you said, like the aesthetics of the film can either like completely poison it for you, or make you really like it, or like in my case be like, this parts I like, this parts I didn't like.
Right.
I feel like there's also like a wrinkle of maybe cultural touchstones that I'm missing for a point of reference. Like the bunny story that you talk about as being like like a metaphor. I think you're right on that. But I feel like that is like maybe a much more like that is maybe like a culturally specific folklore that I just like don't have a point of reference for. Like maybe it's supposed to be like if a film had like the Three Pigs or something being told in that kind of style, you would sort of be able to get it and like build off of that. But because I don't know what it's referring to, if it's referring to an actual story or not, I wasn't sure if there's like, is there supposed to be like more connotation to this than just like, here's another story that is going on, like what, like a shadow puppet story going on about two bunnies grieving the loss of their daughter and then having to like kill a bird that represents that grief in order to overcome it.
Yeah. Which also, like, the bird is like really probably the most disconnected symbol from like the rest of the movie. And that's kind of another complaint that I have, which is like that like the symbolism is all like everything just seems really disconnected from each other. Like we have like the creepy guys who are, they're on the music box that belongs to the daughter. That's like a thing, I guess. But I don't know, did the bird have like anything at all to do with the narrative, or was it just like this, was it just a phoenix that rises from the ashes?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Is that like a thing? Is that like a specific mythology that I just don't have a reference for? Because I couldn't quite figure out what the connection with the phoenix to the bunnies was, other than like, obviously the rebirth and renewal, out of fires come new things born theme of it.
Yeah.
I did get that like the whole point of them being trapped in that sort of repetitive cycle was supposed to be this sort of idea of like grief, where like until you until you really, really face and confront what you are grieving, you just kind of repeat the cycle. Like you go through the same stages over and over and over again.
Mm.
And that's sort of like, it wasn't until they basically like pushed their way through it that they actually escaped it and like closed the loop by hitting the dog, which is what started the loop in the first place. Like that's kind of what I took that as, is that was them reaching the end of the music box's loop, was when they caused the initial like inciting incident that led to the starting of the loop of them being tortured. Because like at the end of the film, they CGI very badly hit that dog, and the dog is the dead dog that the giant guy has been carrying the whole film. That we see at the start of the film of them finding the dog and like carrying it.
I guess I forgot about that bit at the start of the film.
Yeah, it's a weird thing that's like it's there's frameworks, there's ways that the film is told that I think is like not well structured. The opening with the actual like loss of the child is like incredible, and I actually kind of wish that there was more. I just like really like the second you realize what's happening in the scene, and you realize that like they were literally like in bed talking to each other like next to their daughter as she died, and like just weren't aware of it. Like there's a lot of stuff where I'm like, oh, that's like really strong like setup for like grief and regret and like blame and like doubt and like self-hatred. And I didn't really get the sense that that was like put forward into like the way they experience the grief with the music box characters.
Yeah, like, again, like the really disconnected kind of symbols, kind of, I don't know, kind of precocious, definitely, as far as just kind of like wanting to be crazy and interesting or whatever. Yeah, I feel like if the movie kind of continued down the path of what it was presenting in the beginning, like all that stuff I was completely fine with, and I think that kind of keeping up that style I would have been more into, but as soon as the like cartoon character like villains show up, it just like stops being fun immediately, and it just kind of turns into this like really, I don't know. It just turns into like such a different thing that I don't really find enjoyable, I guess. But yeah, I mean, like, there were parts of it obviously that there were like other parts of it that I thought were interesting. I thought kind of the ending where they slammed into the dog with their car, and that kind of stuff, and like them arguing while like driving into the forest, and kind of sometimes how like the time loop would also kind of weirdly go before the start of the camping trip.
Yeah.
Was pretty interesting, because it's kind of just like, it's kind of the movie, and those are touches that I think are like totally fine. Like the movie kind of cheating more character development into itself, within the like kind of limiting framework of the sort of torture stuff that it's trying to do, makes sense to me. Like that stuff is all well and good. I guess I wish there was more. I don't know. I guess I wish there were more normal characters or whatever. I don't know. I just, yeah, I don't know.
I do think a huge limitation of the film is that the actor playing the mate Tobias, very European style of acting. Where he's not really giving you like a lot to work with, and I feel like that really kind of like brings a lot of the film down in a way, because it's like you're not really getting a sense of what this character's like interiority is in a film that is super driven by the main character's interiorities.
I mean, like, that's another part of the movie is like, okay, I mean, like, I usually try not to be this person while watching movies, and I recognize that maybe it's kind of a fallacy, but I definitely was like, what the fuck is he thinking? What is he doing? Like, he's literally, like, there were parts where I was like, he's literally holding a knife. He could just knife these fucking people. And then, of course, the movie won't allow him to do that because it's all metaphorical, you see, which just makes me more frustrated.
Yeah, no. It's like I said, it's like we're not given any sense of what is this main character thinking. So everything just comes off as matters of plot contrivance rather than like why is he reacting this way? Why is he acting? Because you could reasonably present a character where they would have a knife, but like, you know, you either set up or you have just elements of their performance that makes it clear that they are extremely reluctant to use that knife.
Yeah.
But there's none of that in the film. So it's just like, okay, he goes out of his way to get this knife like multiple times, but he never like uses it except to escape the tent once.
Yeah, which I don't know. Maybe that's like a very American thing to say. Like maybe it's just like, oh, just stab him.
Yeah,
it's just like, you know. But at the end of I don't know. I don't know. That's just where I'm coming from.
I did love the scene where they argue about the ice cream.
Oh yeah.
I thought that scene was like so stressful and so perfect. There's also like an interesting theme with regards to like when you're the scenes where the camera's in the backseat of the car watching them while they're driving, and sometimes they're in the focus and sometimes the windshield, seeing out the windshield is in focus, but it's never both.
Yeah.
It's always one or the other is what's in focus. And it was interesting trying to figure out like, okay, why are they in focus in this shot but not in like the last time we saw them in this car?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I thought the car stuff was or just like in particular kind of how the car stuff was shot was really good. I don't know, just kind of from a craft perspective, I guess. I didn't have too many problems with the actual look of the movie. Some of the isometric shots, like this kind of recurring motif where there's like this high up camera isometric shot of the campsite, like at the end of every single loop, like right before the last surviving character dies. You know, you kind of survey the whole scene. Yeah, I don't know, some cool shots here.
Yeah. No, it does make me interested if maybe this is just a film, because I'm looking at it and it's like the director is also the writer and producer and the editor, and it does make me wonder if maybe it's just like this might just be one of those cases where it's like the director would do better with like another writer or with like a different writer. Yeah. Just like somebody to kind of like massage and work over the script to maybe make certain things stronger.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I that kind of feels like the case. It's a little too it's a little precious. It's a little bit you know, little spaghetti at the wall.
Yeah.
Little twee. I don't know.
I wish the cat was in it more. The cat features really prominently on one of the posters, so I thought the cat was going to be like a thing. I don't even really know what the cat is, because the cat's not on the music box.
I guess the cat is like an omen, like a warning of coming danger or something. I guess that's what it's supposed to mean. Yeah, the cat. I mean, like there was that one really interesting shot where it was like, and I kind of feel like it was actually like this weird digital like matte filter effect or whatever, where the camera was like in the car, like looking towards the driver's seat rear view window, and you see the cat through the window, and then like one of the characters kind of goes and checks on the cat.
Yeah.
And you watch the whole thing through that, or not window, am I saying window? Mirror. And yeah, you kind of watch the whole thing through like the mirror. which is interesting as well. But yeah, not very much cat here, even though the cat is kind of a central promotional feature. I don't know, maybe that cat was hard to work with. Maybe she was kind of like a prima donna.
I'd believe that.
Yeah.
I was trying to look up, seeing like, oh, like maybe are white cats like a thing in Swedish folklore, and I found in Scandinavian folklore, the troll cat, which is a familiar of a witch in Scandinavian folklore, and troll cats suck milk from cows and then spit it into the witches' milk pails. So they basically just like steal milk for witches.
Oh, damn. Those goddamn witches. Get your own milk.
I love just the idea of them just being called troll cats. And I also am a big fan of, I'm going to send this to you on Telegram, this image, because they also sometimes are rabbits. So here's just an old 15th century wall painting of a rabbit puking milk into a pail.
Wow, that's a fucking amazing drawing.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of just this rabbit opening its mouth and just yolk into a pail.
That's super funny.
I wish this guy was in the movie.
Someone needs to make a movie about a milk puking rabbit.
Yeah, that is called a troll cat for some reason.
Yeah. Be wary of the troll cat rabbit. Yeah, I don't know. Lots of kind of esoteric sort of folklore stuff. I kind of half wonder if how steeped the rest of the movie is. I don't know.
A part of me feels like there must be some element of it, because like the opening, they're at like they're having some sort of like obviously like cultural celebration in Denmark. And like
Right.
I have no idea what the fuck is happening in that scene, but it's like this is probably something that like is like really common. It's like a thing that like is like has a very specific meaning, and like maybe that's sort of the implications of what we're looking at. But I don't have a point of reference. I will say mussels on pizza. Gross. What?
Disgusting.
What the
Go
fuck?
to hell.
Like when she said that, I was like, oh, like we had mussels. I was like, weren't they eating like salad and like pizza? And I just went and looked, and yeah, they were eating pizza. So they were eating mussels on the pizza, which is disgusting.
That deserves, that is enough for 2 thumbs down on this piece of shit film.
Yeah.
If you eat mussels on your pizza, you're a pervert. You disgust me. She deserved that allergic reaction.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say it.
I'm just gonna say it. Their kid is probably better off not living in a family where that's the fucking norm for food.
The kid didn't die of allergies. The kid just died of
Cringe.
grief. Yeah, cringe.
The kid died of like, those like photo blogs where it's like they post people's like disgusting food, like anti-porn, like whatever.
Oh God.
Food fails. Yeah, she got posted on a
yeah.
food fail blog, and just like it killed her. It was the killing curse.
Jesus Christ. Her shit got put in like a Tastemade video that gets like quote retweeted like 20,000 times.
People calling it the cum pizza, the snot pizza,
the fucking snot pizza, fucking snail pizza. Gross. Disgusting. Bomb Sweden. Destroy it.
Jesus.
No, don't actually. Sweden's beautiful. We love Sweden. Shout outs to Sweden. If you're Swedish, sound off in the comments if there's any weird cultural shit that we didn't understand here.
Yeah, please explain this movie to us. Give us the ending explained.
Please.
But like, instead of the ending, the whole movie. Entire movie explained. Because I did try looking. Like, I tried looking a little bit to see if I could find anything on it, and I couldn't, because it's kind of a more obscure art film that came out. And obviously, like, now is not, this current distribution timeline is not doing it any favors.
Yeah. And it's also like, how do you research the iconography of this movie? It's just like, okay, let me Google Swedish
white cat.
folklore, white cat, bitch with fucked up hair, dead dog, I guess.
Fucking steampunk guy.
Yeah. Yeah. What are carnies like a thing? Is there some important to seeing well, I guess seeing carnies is in and of itself kind of like
It's bad luck.
kind of like a bad omen,
Yeah.
like bad luck, yeah. Sorry to people who
are carnies.
Are like that. I don't know. I don't have clowns I've come around on. Carnies are gonna need to work a little harder to curb my favor. We're checking out more movies. We're gonna have some longer discussions. I have tried to rope Jay into watching Promising Young
I was about to
Woman,
say
so we can
I
do it.
am unfortunately going to be watching that piece of shit soon, and I feel like that will be a a long episode.
Yeah, for better or for worse.
Mostly worse.
So look forward to that. I'll try to. Yeah, I'm trying to check out Sound of Metal. Yeah, not a lot of excitement in the recent past and near future.
I mean, it's both January and also like the tail end of a pandemic. So not
exactly.
a lot of great film selections right now.
Slim pickings. But either way, we'll have more stuff out for you. Make sure to fucking sub to the Patreon, patreon.com/filmcritters. At the $5 tier, you get access to monthly throwback episodes where we talk about movies that are from years bygone.
That you have voted on.
Yeah, you get to vote. You get to choose. Your voice is heard. And for January, we chose Face Off because, new year, new beginnings, new face. So that episode is probably
new president even.
Oh, new president
too.
New
wow. Face. And according to QAnon, they've done a little face-off situation themselves. And it's actually
there literally was a post that suggested that.
I am obsessed with like the two versions of that post. Like the one that's like, no, Trump is still secretly president and Biden is pretending to be president. Hashtag shadow prez. And then the one that literally is just, no, it's a face-off situation. They swapped faces, which is like insane.
Gotta love Q. Gotta love the poison that's in our country's bloodstream. Or fucking whatever. Yeah, that shit's dark. But I'll tell you what isn't dark.
Our futures on Patreon.com.
Our Discord channel.
Oh,
Discord, yeah. Film Critters Discord, link is below. Come join. We have lots of fun. We talk about shows, we talk about movies, we talk about games, we talk about outside, cat pictures. Yeah, it's been fun.
We announce our streams, which you can also find links for our streams down below. I stream every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday.
Tuesday and Friday. I think. Yes, Tuesday and Friday.
I was like, I hope you're right. I was like, it's your schedule.
I stream whenever. Fuck it, whatever. Yeah, I want to stream Hades soon because Hades is really fun.
You've been talking about it. Yeah, it sounds good.
Yeah. So come hang out.
Yeah.
Come hang out. God damn it! Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah. I am Jay Bearhat.
I am Baru.
Bye.
Bye.